Welcome everybody to Rob's Metalworks. We are here at Fitzgerald's to support Grammy award-winning bassist, the man, Mr. David Ellefson is in the Alamo City. Sir, welcome.
Hey, how are you? How you doing?
God, what a great show tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
There was so much chemistry on stage, and then we're going to talk about James Rivera being on stage with you too, but for all these people out there who are just barely catching on to the tour, it just started on September 20th, tell these people about what Bass Story is all about.
Well, no two of them are alike, which was fun. It kind of keeps it creative and fun for me. You know, I try to dig back into the catalog and really talk about, because it isn't just me playing, it's me talking about the riffs, like kind of the story behind some of the songs, what was going on in the band. That's why my friend James Rivera being here as part of the early Megadeth story. Hellstar opened for Megadeth on the Peace Sells tour on some dates here in Texas. And we did a record, Killing Machine, together, and I actually produced a Hellstar record back in '93. But yeah, these guys, you know, it's awesome. I was very blessed tonight. The band Rust in Peace, a Megadeth tribute band, who were they know everything. They know more songs than Megadeth. They got them. So it was fun to just bring them up and kind of riff through some stuff and tell the stories as we advertised it as an intimate evening of riffs and repartee.
I loved all the stories too.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, to me, that's like, you can come and see us play concerts and rip these tunes, you know, and that's what you want. You know, you want a face-melting concert. But this is meant to be much smaller, intimate interaction. Sometimes I'll even do a little Q&A. Depends on how drunk people are by the time we get to that part of the set, you know. But people seem to just enjoy, you know, just being in the room and kind of being part of the whole history of the songs and of the riffs.
I also think it was interesting too that you had the military people who tonight, the American warriors, celebrating their service to our country and letting them in for free and to this nice event.
It's great. I mean, obviously Megadeth, we've always been huge supporters of our troops. You can hear it in our music, you hear it in our lyrics, and yeah, wonderful event that they're doing tonight with American Warrior Festival, so it's really cool to be a part of that.
Before we move on from Bass Story, you're running right now through the Southwest and in the Midwest, then in November you'll be in New England. Is this something that we're going to see more of Dave Ellefson doing in 2019? You know,
yeah, in fact, I'm going to Europe in a couple weeks. I'm going to be over there to kind of make a swing through the northern area, but I am actually looking at doing some more stuff in 2019 over there. And, you know, quite honestly, anywhere they will have me. You know, it's a fun thing to do. You know, I mean, for me, it's, you know, we did a lot of clinics, you know, in music stores in years past, and that has kind of dried up a little bit. So this intimate thing. So what we did with creating Bass Story was to capture that intimate musical moment that fans get to see, you know, really up close and personal musical, integration. With the Q&A, the storytelling thing, I think, is a big part of it. I did a spoken word tour in Australia, and I really got to, it was just me and a mic and a bass, you know, so it really forced me to really get out there and tell those stories.
And you fucking rocked it tonight when you were up there by yourself, too.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, no, it's fun to come out and start it like that, then bring some people up, then bring everybody up, and it's fun to hang out with my buddies, you know.
I would be remiss also not to talk about how special this show here in San Antonio is, also because I heard that they're going to be selling your coffee here in this venue starting October 1st. So now all you San Antonio folks, all you people around the area want to get your Ellefson coffee, you can come right here to Fitzgerald's.
Right here at Fitzgerald's. It's all going on here. Yep. So thank you, Fitzgerald's. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about other things. First and foremost, I think I also want to share with the people, of course, people know you just dropped a brand new record with Metal Allegiance.
Yes, yeah. A record we've been working on for, gosh, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years, you know, scheduling everything between everybody being out, you know, doing their own thing. But, you know, that's a real labor of love. We get along great. We make some great music together. And so yeah, Power Drug Majesty. We just
Volume 2.
Volume 2. Yeah, we just launched it, and pick it up. I think we made a good record.
You guys have like all these guest musicians. I saw videos with Bush and Bobby Blitz and Andreas Kisser too. So you have all these great people again on board.
Super cool. And man, some new people. You know, we wanted to maintain the current roster we had from the first record and expanded. Floor Jansen from Nightwish wrote and participated on it. Max Cavalera. I mean, it's just really Johan from Amon Amarth. So we really went to Europe and got some amazing artists.
I also, you know, there's so many. It just seems like you're such a busy man right now in metal. But also, I just read that you were recently inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How how? I mean, when I first saw that, I was like, Iowa and Dave Ellefson, I didn't really make the connection. Tell us about that.
Well, I grew up in Minnesota, and when we launched our coffee brand and our coffee store in my little hometown of Jackson, Minnesota, literally about 30, 40 minutes just south of Jackson, right over the border in Iowa, the Spirit Lake and Lake Okoboji.
They lay claim to you too?
They did, yeah. So, but you know what? I love Iowa. When I used to go down there in the summertime, it was an awesome summertime hang down there. So, you know, I was very honored, and it was really a cool event.
Texas is so big, we don't do that here.
Yeah, I mean, Texas, you got Mexico to the south, you got Oklahoma up there, right? Yeah, you're like your own little country here.
Okay, let's end out, Dave. I know you're a busy guy. You got lots of people here waiting for you. We have to talk about Megadeth. Yep. Tonight, you talked about Rust in Peace, about what a pivotal record that was for the band. Obviously, big fans of it all over the world. Wasn't it just a few days ago that it was the 28th birthday of Rust in Peace?
Out of the 35 years of Megadeth campaign that we're doing this year, we're celebrating an album every month, sometimes 2 albums, depending, because we got 15 albums to put over 12 months. You know, Rust in Peace, it was a big album. You know, the moments where it's always kind of been down to just sort of me and Dave, and you know, that's it. You know, we're getting a new manager, rebuilding the band. I mean, you know, So Far So Good So Well was kind of that record. Rust in Peace was absolutely that record, and I would say even probably Dystopia was that record.
Oh God!
You know, it was where it was just, you know, Dave and I, and we're rebuilding the band, the organization, you know, new management, kind of the whole thing. You know, and I think.
And you building your brand.
Yes, it is. You know, and it's funny. We get to a certain point, I think, in our career where our fans individually like things that we do, and not separate from Megadeth at all, right, as part of Megadeth, you know. And you know, so I'm very thankful, you know, that the fans have an interest, you know, in coffee and Bass Story, and you know, the Combat Records and these other things that I'm bringing in. You know, to me, my whole life is Megadeth, is heavy metal, it's our genre, it's thrash metal, it's everything that we do. And I think Bass Story is a way to kind of bring it all together, talk about it, celebrate it, and just kind of break bread and have fun with the fans.
I think James Rivera said it best, that you're just like, you know, a very famous, worldwide known musician, but your heart's in the right place.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I think that is it. I mean, I had, if there was ever temptations of money, and you know, I know when, probably, I was thinking about today, probably one of the worst things that can happen to a rock band is that they get rich and famous, because you lose the core of what made you rock, you know what I mean? And it sucks, because as a band, you're broke for so long, and you're so poor, and you're just struggling, and finally, some luck comes your way, you're able to, wow, I can pay my bill, wow, I can get a car, wow, I can pay my rent, you know? And then, you know, and for some of us, you know, we've been able to soar up to great levels. And I think, you know, having gone through that in the 90s, we had big years, big success. And it, you know, it caused, you know, any band goes through the friction. But, you know, I think we've come out the other side of it. And certainly, you know, being a clear head, clear mind, sober judgment has helped me really just kind of stabilize it and keep it even, you know.
2 more things, Dave. I heard about Mega Cruise in 2019. Tell us about that.
Well, more details are coming. We announced it, and so now just stay tuned for more details are going to be coming out over the next few weeks.
That's going to be cool. Obviously, Megadeth headlining.
Yeah. As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, so when is the follow-up to Dystopia coming out?
You know, we're working on it now. I think we learned with Dystopia that, you know, it's important to take our time. You know, we had 13 album. It's funny, I'd come back to the band. We were on tour. We had some Big 4 shows booked. We had the Mayhem tour booked. And we had 10 weeks to make this record. And we got in with a real urgency, came right off the road, went in, ripped it, and made a really good record. And, you know, I think we learned on Super Collider, we had dates booked, and we were kind of forced. We came off the road, a long, very successful tour with 13, we did the Countdown to Extinction 20th anniversary. And you need a minute to just kind of sort of debrief and kind of, you know, just
decompress.
Yeah, decompress out of the thing, you know, and you know, I think we learned that when we put a record out, that's the time to hit it hard. And I mean, on this record, we went 3 years on this tour. But what we did learn from that is, you know, when the tour's over, take some time, decompress. Don't just rush in and just keep cranking, you know. We don't have to be on the treadmill anymore, which is nice, you know. So we're taking our time, but it's coming along well, much like Dystopia.
I thought I read a comment not too long ago about you mentioning that this should have been the first single from Super Collider, and it wasn't.
Oh, Kingmaker.
Yeah.
Well, you know, historically, when you put out a metal record, you always lead with a heavy track. Like on Dystopia, we put out Fatal Illusion. Ripping. All of a sudden, fans are like, yeah, they get excited. They go, okay, there's our Megadeth. They're back, you know. And then when we dropped the first single, Dystopia, which is, you know, a more melodic, you know, kind of, it's not a light track at all, but it's a more melodic mainstream track. Now people are kind of okay with it because they know you've led with intention. On Countdown to Extinction, we led with Skin of My Teeth, and then we put out Symphony of Destruction, the big hit, you know. And so I think it's important to, you know, when you set up metal records, and that's what I get. I love Super Glider. It's got some great material and great songs, but sometimes you get prejudiced by what you first hear, you know. And Super Glider is a great track. I just listened to it the other day, actually, but it's funny. Behind Kingmaker, it's basically like Dystopia, you know what I mean? So it's just one of the things that, you know, Dave and I have been doing this a long time, and we know, you know, how that should go, you know.
One last question, David. Tonight you played The Conjuring with the band, and I had heard that, you know, Dave Mustaine didn't want to play that song anymore for whatever reason. Yeah. But then I heard that he brought it back into the set. Is that true?
Yeah, we did. We brought it back in the set. You know, we because of the 35 years of Megadeth, and we only did about 7 weeks of touring this summer. We sat down and we said, okay, let's think of like 6 songs that we can realistically put in the set. And I think we got to like 2 or 3 of them. You know,
I thought that one was just like off the list because of
it was. And Dave one day says, you know, if we bring back The Conjuring, that'll be the shot heard around the world.
Oh, and
true. We almost didn't have to bring in 6 songs. We only needed to bring 1 in, and that was it.
We're all good and bad. We're more good now as we get older, but we still remember the bad.
Well, what's nice with Bass Story is I've been practicing going back through the catalog. Really, especially Cryptic Writings is one record. Some amazing, really cool songs, bass parts that were very, you know, really pushing the envelope for me inside of Megadeth as well. I did, you know, a fair amount of writing on that record as well. So it's fun to go back into these old tracks, you know, The Conjuring, these old songs, and pull them back in because we haven't played them. We haven't performed a lot of these tracks in a lot of years live. So it's fun, I think, in Bass Story to go into them and really talk about them and dig into the heart of them.
And you did that tonight. You played Killing Is My Business tracks tonight. Yeah. God, wow.
Yeah, I love that. You know, I always joke. It's funny how a song called Killing Is My Business can be so melodic. I remember when we recorded the song and Dave was in there singing the chorus, I'm like, dude, that's a really melodic chorus for killing someone, you know? And it's, I think it was the beauty of Megadeth is how heavy it can be, yet it's very melodic.
Lastly, James Rivera, we have to talk about him. He is a legend in our scene, very revered and respected. People know about his long relationship with you, and now Hell Starts with EMP. What was it like to have him up on stage? You're going to have him up on stage tomorrow, too, in Houston.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Oh, my God. When we came down here, he was the first guy I called. Just because he knows the scene, he knows how to roll these kind of things, he knows how to get it together, and I just said, man, here's what I'd like to do, here's kind of how I'd like to run the set. He goes, I know the perfect guys, I know the perfect band, trust me, I got this, click. And sure enough, you know, you show up, he's got it dialed, man. He's the man with the plan.
It was so seamless tonight and so beautiful. You looked like you were having a great time up there tonight.
I really was.
Young kids.
I was. And you know, it's nice because, you know, these guys, I was saying, well, do you know this song? And they say, well, look, we know the entire Rest in Peace album, we know all of Countdown. And I'm like, geez, you guys know everything. I need to practice, you know. You guys know everything. You guys have been playing songs I haven't played in literally 20, 30 years. Right. So it was fun, but you know, it was fun to go back and just kind of cherry pick some nice little gems, you know, out of the catalog, and I think the fans loved it.
More when you come back.
Awesome. Yes.
Sir, thank you. Thank you so much for a great interview. Remember, everyone out there, the Bass Story Tour is not over yet. Jump on board, check it out as it goes through the Midwest and in New England later this year. You saw the man, Mr. David Ellefson, only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.